What's going on, Blue Crew? It's your boy Big Blue here again with another Borderlands 3 video. Today I bring you another moze build. I bring you one around the flipper because the flipper has some crazy interactions when it comes to Mindsweeper mode. I really like this build. It does great damage, great sustainability, and I have clips to prove both. Honestly, my biggest drawback to this build is I couldn't get the perfect flipper. I couldn't get one with consecutive hits because I am using the Pearl in this build. But I do have one with that on action skill in. I get increased incinerator damage, which is nice, which is very nice. But if I could have got one with consecutive hits, it would have made this thing a totally different beast. If you do have one, trust me, use that one. You will see a crazy difference and it will be worth it. I'll go over why here in a second. Even when it came to this big group of all anointed enemies, I was still able to take them down without going down even once. I think there was 5 or maybe 6 anointed enemies here. Wasn't even a challenge for it. I did go down there, but the main reason that you're going to go down with this build is going to be because of the torque cross promotion. You're gonna down yourself more than anything, honestly. But it's a great build that I really, really enjoyed making. Probably one of my new favorite moze builds I've done. But let's roll that intro so I can show you some good footage of me actually mobbing through some stuff. Okay guys, I love this build. It's probably my new favorite moze build. It does it all. It's good in Iron Bear. It's good with just moze firing. I do have multiple ways to get that lifesteal with Russian offense and Vampire, of course. If you're an old school moze player, you know, I'm not an old school moze player by the way, but if you are, you know that she only had Vampire for a while there and it was really hard to just keep that lifesteal going. You had to be chucking grenades constantly just to stay alive. And that was one of the main things that stopped me from playing moze when she was earlier on in the game, you know. But now she's probably like the top 2, if not #1 Vault Hunter in the game. And that's crazy to see, seeing that she came from being the worst Vault Hunter in the beginning of the game to now one of the best. So the reason that I am using the flipper and the reason that the flipper does so much damage is going to be because of short fuse. So short fuse procs on every single projectile that fires from the flipper. So that gives you a big damage increase, and it just makes you chew through anything that gets in front of you. One of the big problems you're gonna have with just the Mindsweeper in general, I have 8 points in the torque cross promotion, by the way. With that is that you're gonna down yourself sometimes with that splash damage area. It's going to be massive, and it will definitely kill you. As you can see, in Iron Bear, I'm fine. Outside of Iron Bear, I'm fine. And one of the main reasons for that is going to be that Mindsweeper. That's why I call this Mindsweeper moze build, because it revolves heavily around Mindsweeper. The reason the Mindsweeper does so much damage now is because after they did the Mayhem scaling with grenade damage on Mayhem 10, those Mindsweeper grenades just, they wreck everything without any kind of problem. And I love the direction they went with moze and how they changed her to be more viable. Are there any other changes you guys think should be made to moze? If there's anything you can think of, add it in the comments, or any other Vault Hunters actually. I'm thinking about starting a playthrough, maybe on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch, by the way, with Flak. I really like Flak. He was actually one of the characters I wanted to play first. I played a little Zane. If you've looked at my older videos, I tried to do a playthrough with Zane, but I did not like him very much. He was not for me, but I'll probably end up trying him again here soon. So that way I can have some more diversity in builds and play styles and have more content for you guys, honestly. As you can see, Iron Bear lasts for a really long time, and I don't have any points in anything to make Iron Bear last longer. It just, with the splash damage that it does, it heals itself, so it keeps me up longer. As long as my timer's up, I'm up. The projectiles that I am firing don't take much of my actual Iron Bear time down, so I'm able to keep going with Iron Bear because of that. I've tried this Iron Bear build in multiple things, from both takedowns to multiple enemy types with shields and armor and everything. And I really didn't have a problem with anything that I came into contact with. I just wanted to show you guys a little clip of how this build performs when you're out in the world, so you'll know. But here in a second, we're gonna get right into the build so I can show you exactly what I did and how I made everything work. Alright guys, let's go over the build. So I have a lot of great guns for this build. I have a rapid miscreant here with a splash damage, calcium with increased consecutive hits, and I have Capero also with splash damage. But the main thing you're gonna see me using is this sublime fibber. Excuse me, it's not a fibber, it's a flipper. The reason that I'm going to be using this flipper is because every single projectile from this gun has a chance to proc short fuse, which increases your damage significantly. But if you just don't like the way this gun is, or that it's a charge gun or anything, trust me, any of these guns will work just fine. What I mean by all the projectiles, I guess let me show you real fast. I shoot and you see I have multiple projectiles coming out of the gun. All of those have a chance to proc short fuse, which gives you a crazy increase in damage. Moze seems to get more damage from splash damage and incinerate damage, so I went with an enhanced old god with that incinerate damage. Makes me 13% resistance to incinerate damage, and I have 20% on the card, and then I have another 50% on the anointment. Use a cloning maddening tracker. Of course, I'm using one with that grenade damage, that weapon damage, and action skill damage. I'm gonna go over that action skill damage increase in a second. Megaton Mindsweeper, slash damage, weapon damage, really great for what I'm trying to do. Also the torque cross promotion, it downs you sometimes because it is too much splash, but it's really good. I'm just using a pearl to increase that damage. Nothing special about my pearl, you know, it's the pearl, it's special by itself. So that action skill damage I was talking about, Fire in the Skagden actually benefits from action skill damage, and it is scaled in Mayhem 10. So that gives this skill a crazy increase in damage. Grizzled, of course, just for the action skill cooldown. Stainless Steel Bear for some more damage, not that you really need it in this build. I'm using torque cross promotion, like I said. You could take some of these points out of this and put them somewhere else, because if you wanted to have your Iron Bear up with you at all times so he's doing more damage, you could put a point here. You could take points out and maybe put points here if you want, or put them in a different tree. You don't have to have them like I have it there. The main things that you're gonna want is gonna be Fire in the Skagden from this tree. Get that Stainless Steel Bear. And the biggest one is short fuse. That's like your major damage dealer in this whole build. Of course, I'm using Means of Destruction, Pull the Holy Pin, and Vampire. Vampire for life steal. These two so I can get crit chances on my grenades, because I'm using that Mindsweeper grenade mod. Mindsweeper mod class mod. And Means of Destruction just so I can get grenades back. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but you can actually use almost any skill. Like I have it on Hammer Down Protocol, but I usually use target softening because it has a higher chance to proc those Minesweeper grenades, which do all that damage. You can use lock and speed loaded if you want. It does great damage. Musical chairs doesn't work so well if it's just like a single boss. If you have other enemies around, it may work, but it doesn't work that well, honestly. Alright, Shield of Retribution tree. If you want to take some of those points out of torque cross promotion and put them in here, maybe for like security bear, or even like 1 point into selfish vengeance, could be cool. I have 5 in armored infantry just for that extra gun damage and damage reduction. Vladoff Ingenuity for shield recharge rate, max shields, and shock damage resistance. 2 points in Drowning the Brass, just to build those stacks up because they build up so fast to get that extra damage. You could take the points out and put them in here also. Shield recharge rate once you get into Iron Bear, you know, it's really nice. And experimental munitions just for that extra critical hit damage. If you score a critical hit, you get bonus incendiary damage. Super nice. Bottomless mags. Cloud of Lead, incendiary damage. Like I said earlier, incendiary damage is Moze's bread and butter. Well, splash damage and incendiary damage is Moze's bread and butter. Stoke the Embers for more incendiary damage. Added extra point to redistribution. just so I could kill things a lot longer without having to reload. It just makes it easier for me, honestly. Scrappy. At one point in Scrappy, just because that weapon damage while I'm moving, you know, it's nice. Rushing offense, extra lifesteal, and I do so much damage that lifesteal is actually very beneficial. I have 4 out of 5 points in the scorching RPMs for that fire rate and critical chance, and then Iron Bear damage is just nice. Last but not least, Specialist Bear. Like I said, this is a hybrid build, so it's gonna be Iron Bear efficient and moze efficient, so you don't have to worry about too much. And this is what actually boosts that Iron Bear damage to make it where it works for both. This and the use of the Megaton Mindsweepers. Like when they did the Mayhem 10 scaling with grenades, this became like a crazy class mod because that 25% chance to drop that micro grenade, and that grenade just does crazy damage. If you've seen my clip, I should have showed you a clip earlier with me doing it on Grave Ward. You've seen how much damage it did. It was just insane. Well guys, that is the build. I do hope you enjoyed it. Blue Crew, as always, stay medicated, stay elevated. To the next video, guys. Peace.